What's going on? What's going on? What's happening? We are live tonight in the Birdcage. Tonight is a special night because guess what? The Falcons have their first preseason game tomorrow night. We're going to definitely dive into it tonight. And I'm going to be having the crew in tonight, checking in and talking about the expectations we have and what's going to be apparent for these Falcons tomorrow. But before we get into the Falcons, what we would like you to do, if you are on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe and like the video so we can continue to bring you more content. Let's go ahead and make this happen because we want to keep bringing you guests, interviews, and everything else that's in between time, But we're going to go ahead and get the show started. You already know who this is. This is your boy, the historian, Ryan Walker, and I'm ready to go. And so is my crew. So we will see you in a moment. Ghost.
Okay, y'all, this is it.
What's going on? What's going on? You already know this. Welcome to the Birdcage. This is how we get down. Welcome. Tomorrow is the preseason, and the Falcons are getting ready to unleash unholy hell on those boys down in South Florida, So before I get this thing jumping and get this thing kicked off, I got to go ahead and start bringing in the crew. You already know my extended family, but the first cat I got to bring in, my man, my main partner, my right-hand man, Killian, K-Dub. What it do?
What it is, what it do, Birdcage family. Good to be back into the building this Thursday evening, ready to chop it up with all the topics, all our listeners and subscribers and day ones and day fun followers that been doing this for a long time with us, man. We ready to get into it. The season about to get ready to crank up tomorrow. For the preseason, let's go. Always rise up. Always get. Let's be official. Let's go. Birdcage, we're in here. Let's go.
Well, we got to bring in one of the other OGs of this thing here. He's a little seasoned in the beard. My main partner, Graybeard. What's going on?
I do, Graybeard.
Going on, fellas? Going on, Birdcage family? What it do, man? Football here at last, fellas.
Yep. Most definitely. And now we got to bring in the residential coach, the wide receiver, Coach.
What's going on?
Coach B.
Man, you know how it goes. You're back into the building with us. And then we've got to bring
game week. It's game week.
Mm-hmm.
Game week.
We bringing in all the stops. We got the man, the myth, the legend, better known as Scoop, aka the Black Wall Street Journal. First on the track with it. What's going on, Big Scoop?
What's happening? What's happening? What's going on, fellas? Yeah, it's finally here. It's
It's
finally
their
here.
time. Well,
Man.
you know, we got a special guest coming in here to join us. He's a part of the BirdCage family, but it's been a minute. We just waiting for him to get on. So, we got to bring our partner in. So I'm not gonna mess him up. I got to give him a good intro because this is the first time he's coming to the StreamYard with us, and we definitely got to make this thing work. So other than that, fellas, how do y'all feel about the first game being back?
Man, I'm too excited, man. Finally, football is back. So I think everybody been anticipating this, been waiting for it, trying to see what the new Falcon team gonna look like, man. I'm just ready to get at it. Let's go.
Well, you talk about getting at it and go. We gonna keep this thing hot. We got the birthday boy in here, one of the members of the BirdCage crew, Mr. Jason Meltdown. Melton, what's up, Meltdown?
Hey,
I got my audio working. We're good now.
no, you in the building.
Hey
What's
man,
going on, Melton?
You in here like swimwear now, baby.
Yeah, we're in. We're in. Let's do it.
let's get it, man. So
Yo.
welcome. First time in a long time you've been back in the cage, and you chose your birthday to come in here with us, man. What's up?
Yeah, man. What better way to celebrate doing family, right?
Yeah,
Most definitely. And we got through the building too. I got my other family, my auntie, Southern alum. She's saying good evening to everybody, ladies and gentlemen. Rhonda Broadnecks out there in YouTube. What's happening? And shout out to our Facebook family too that's joining us tonight to talk about these birds, man. So we getting ready to get to it. Let's go ahead and start off with the Out the Cage segment. A segment for the first timers that are coming in here. We haven't done this in a while. So Out the Cage is pretty much news that is around the NFL that does not concern the Atlanta Falcons. So I'm just making sure I put that out there. So when you see Out the Cage, this is a segment that has the news. So the first thing we have is pretty much Aaron Rodgers. We don't have to spend too much time on it. I'm going to let the birthday boy jump on this one before I pass the next topic to my man Calais Campbell. Birthday boy, Aaron Rodgers had some words for Bryce Young. He says, don't be so hard on yourself. Be a little gentle with your career. Take your time. And he's pretty much telling him that even though he's going to have struggles and struggles pretty much that's going to happen as a rook, he sees the kid's talent. But here's the thing. 5 South, we ain't got too much love for him. We ready to make his life hard anyway.
That's
What
right.
do you think?
Well, Aaron Rodgers speaks to you. You're a rookie. You listen. If he speaks to you and you've been there 5-6 years, you listen. I mean, it's Aaron Rodgers. I don't wish him any luck against us. I hope he beats everybody else in our division, but nothing toward us. And of course, Rodgers. Rodgers is 4-4 against Atlanta, so he's not up on us. So, but we're not up on him. But Rodgers speaks, you got to listen. I mean, he's good.
Most definitely. You're a young player coming into the league. Like you said, you got a veteran that's won multiple MVPs, a Super Bowl, and, he's been doing it for a minute. Now he's in New York getting ready to prove himself all over again. But, hey, he's telling the young fella, hey, you don't even have to wait your turn. Just take your time and just get rid of it. But speaking of getting with it, the next thing we're going to talk about is Kareem Hunt. And I'm going to let Coach Brant jump on this one, fellas. Kareem without a deal, and possibly New Orleans is still an option for this guy because he actually has talked to New Orleans. They have Kamara, but that situation is up and down. But Kareem Hunt could possibly be going to New Orleans now that he doesn't have a contract with Indy. What do you think is going to be the deciding factor in bringing that guy down to NOLA where we can pound on him a little bit?
Well, a lot of it's going to depend on what happens in camp. And, they talk about the shelf life for running backs, 3 years. And, does he still have the talent? Yes, he does. But it's all about that money. Scoop sitting there rolling it up. That's exactly what it comes down to, and bring him on. He wants to be a bag head, we'll beat on him. I don't care.
Ain't nothing like beating on the back. Ain't nothing like beating on the bag head. It's just different. The sad part about it is I got some misguided family members that's New Orleans fans too. Unfortunately, they from Louisiana, so I got to give them a pass. But I still say maybe they might come to their senses and come over to the right side of the thing. But they're a little disillusioned, so we'll let that go. I love you, Auntie Dana. She gonna kill me for that one, but I don't care. But she's gonna come on to the show later, not this year, but when the Saints play the Falcons. So we'll have us a little banner going, so y'all will be able to jump in there with me. So Killian K-Dub Worthy, Mr. Killer, Eric Beinemy shows toughness to these younger players, and Ron Rivera isn't a fan of this. Like, I'm gonna let you jump on this because you like I said, you played old school football back in the day, just like I did, and everybody else on this panel. And we had tough coaches. These dudes can't handle somebody yelling at them and getting on them. What do you feel about this?
I mean, like I said, they brought the guy in. They got to let him actually operate. The first year of doing anything, the first year of learning how to drive, the first year at a job, the first year of being a parent, it's everything a little bit difficult. So I think they need to give it time. Let those guys, maybe you have to weed out, the guys that aren't for, what the new organization of the Commanders is going to be about. So, I mean, they're in a process now of it's a filtering process. So this camp and this year, I think will weed out some of the guys that are not really down for the team or down for what the Commanders are doing right now, because they gave him a lucrative deal and they want his organization around and bring some of that ring and some of that attitude he had in Kansas City offense and bring that mojo to Washington and bring some success. So if you're not on board, sometimes everyone is not going to make it to the end. So that's how I feel about the situation. I feel like it'll handle itself, but those guys get more men and not boys. This is not college anymore. You're getting paid and you got to suck it up and keep going. If we got to do it in the 9-to-5 world, those guys that are making a pretty penny in the NFL suck it up also. That's just my opinion.
Well, I mean, let's be real, and I'm gonna let everybody kind of chime in on this one, because this is a topic that we talk about with society as a whole. Because when you look at society as a whole, you talk about kids that are coming up through a time where half of these kids have never even been in a true fist fight before. Let's be honest. Most of these kids don't know what it's like had it. And I'm saying this because I'm starting to become the old man on the line. Get off my grass. Yeah, I'm becoming that. And I don't care. You've never tasted your own blood before. I ain't trying to hear it. You've never been punched in the mouth before, or you've thrown a punch in the mouth. I'm not trying to hear it, because most of us got in fist fights when we were playing football in high school with our teammates, whether if it was on the field or in the locker room. You have individuals who got cussed out. I've been yanked by the face mask in the middle of a game because I blew a play. You talk about guys that I've watched my teammates be embarrassed in front of their family, but you have these old school coaches that'll grab you and throw you on the ground in front of folks. So these guys now, oh man, I don't like what he's doing. And da-da-da. Ron Rivera must have forgot where he came from. Let's get this straight. Yeah. Ron Rivera played for those Bears back in the 80s with Buddy Ryan before Buddy left. So when you talk about like with enemy, man, whatever, you came from that. Quit trying to be a player's coach and be these guys as coach to get them to the next level. Not against the Falcons, but go ahead and knock out them stinking Eagles and them Cowboys and them Giants for us. Please do that, because we'll take care of you guys.
I know all y'all miss the good old days of being nose to nose with a coach up inside your face mask and that Levi Garrett and Redman and Copenhagen and Skull flying in your eyes and you trying not to blink because he's making you look me in the eye when I'm talking to you. So
that's why I wore a visor, Coach.
Well, they didn't have them when I played. Ryan, when I started playing, I'm not lying, until I got into junior high, we wore suspension helmets with the straps in them. That ain't no joke.
Woo! Prehistoric helmet, man. Lord.
Then they started going to the cheese pack Riddell's, and then when air helmets got big, then so that was that's them old cheese packs that get cold and cut your ears. Thanks.
We got another coach. So let's talk about it, man. So Scoop, how do you feel about this? Now you're a coach. You came up under an NFL football player as your defense. And shout out to Mr. Anthony Blaylock, Coach Blaylock. Shout out to you. So go ahead and talk about what your experience was like having an old school coach like that.
So I'm gonna start out like this. I know it's a family show, but this new generation soft as hell.
Yeah.
You and me and we talked about this before. Like football for people who have not played the game and have not been really coached. Football is like the closest transition to life, in my opinion. And those opportunities to be disciplined, to get coached up, and it's not just about football; it's about life itself. As a man, as a boy trying to become a man, you need people like Coach Bill Hayes. You need people like Coach Terrence Mathis. You need people like Coach Anthony Blaylock to be in your life to provide that guidance, because the world will spit you out.
It will.
And if you don't get that discipline there, like there's gonna be ways where you're gonna find discipline somewhere else, and it's gonna be too late. So for me, man, like just to hear the whole story, it break my heart, because they've made it this far, and obviously those guys just got passed around or babied the entire time, like through park ball, junior high school, and college, and now that I made it to the NFL, and they're getting coached by somebody that done won Super Bowls with an S. And to say that you getting coached too hard, like, do you want to be great, or you just want to make a paycheck?
I like to me, they want a paycheck.
Yeah. See, that right there, man, that just, it kind of pissed me off. I'm gonna be real with you. It pissed me off.
I'm glad it pissed Joe, because I got pissed when I heard about it. I'm like this. If I can get somebody to yell at me and get me to the next level, to get me to a better and they're not thinking about, okay, he's pushing you because, for number one, this man has won a national championship as a football player at Colorado as a running back, came to the NFL, was a very good running back in the NFL, got his way up through the coaching ranks, earned respect, and literally had coached one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time.
And still fighting for a head coaching position. He's still fighting for a head coaching position. That's the big thing for me, because now you get the controversy of dealing with these younger generation players, and that's going to always be something on the next interview. So you go in that next head coaching interview, and you're like, what was going on in Washington? Now, why I got to answer this question?
Glenn. Now, Glenn, I'm gonna say this here, because I'm gonna switch this over to Glenn, because everybody then chimed in on this. K-Dub next. Glenn, let's be real, dog. Outside of Magic Johnson and all these guys that are taking over that organization, because Magic knew what it was like to come from a winning organization, and he's still winning as an assistant owner, because all of his teams have won championships off the field, minus the soccer team. You know, the soccer club, Atlanta United took care of that, but let's just be real about this. When you look at how Eric Beinemy was brought in as an assistant, people don't realize Ron Rivera is on thin ice right now. Whether they realize it or not, Eric Beinemy is going to be his replacement. Out of all teams in the NFL, that's going to probably give him a chance to be a head coach. If they don't do well this year, Ron Rivera is going to. And here's the thing. From an organization that started off where they had no black players to where they had to have an act of Congress to get that organization straight. And you go from that to Bobby Mitchell being your first player, and then Doug Williams being your Super Bowl winning quarterback. And now you finally got an assistant that's possibly getting ready to take over. Even though that organization, Washington knows how it changes when it's time to win. So what do you think is going to happen if Washington underachieves and Rivera possibly gets kicked out of the door? Do you think Beinemy is going to be a good coach in that situation if he gets put there as a head coach?
Well, to be honest with you, he should have been a head coach already, in my opinion. So this right here is long overdue. If Ron Rivera wants to keep his job, he better hope that freaking Airbnb can get these players right and get them tough. Cause like I'm not trying to stare off or whatnot, but freaking Scoop is right, man. These boys golf. I'm talking about golf is charming in the middle of a lake.
I ain't heard that. Dang, Glenn, you went back to boot camp on us, man.
Hey, man.
Let's go.
Hey, hold up. Wait a minute. Do you have anything to drink over there from Killian? Because that's something Killian would throw out of the box, man.
Hey, man.
What you been doing over there?
Hey, man. Oh, I got to keep you on your toes.
Yeah, keep him on his toes.
Hey, Killian, he went back to boot camp for us on that one, bro.
Love it. Hey, look, we love to see it. We love to see it. Let's go.
Most definitely. But we're not going to spend too much time on that. We know the younger generation is soft, and accountability is something that most don't understand. So this is going to come to our next topic, our last topic for Out the Cage before we get to these Falcons. Henry Ruggs III has been sentenced to 3 years in prison. Was supposed to get 5 to 10, but apparently good lawyer got him off to where he's going to get 3 years for the vehicular manslaughter of that young woman and her pet. This right here screams exactly what we're talking about with Beinemy and everything that's going on with these kids now, because like we said, it's no accountability at all. And when you talk about the accountability of things, when are we going to be in a situation where these guys start taking things serious, and when they start taking accountability for what they've done? You know, just because you say you're going to get off and this is going to bring that young lady back, because now you're in a spot where, you know, you've cost yourself pretty much your generational wealth that you had in your back pocket, being a first rounder. Now you're going to have a hard time in the real world trying to get a job, because nobody's just it is what it is. When do you think these younger cats are going to take responsibility and accountability? That's my question.
Well, for me, unfortunately, man, I think it takes something like this to get them straight. It take them either getting behind bars or losing everything. And unfortunately, we live in an era right now where there's no accountability. You can't really discipline anybody anymore. Even raising your voice right now gets you in trouble, and it's just ridiculous. So for me, I mean, if you want to carp a generation, keep doing what you're doing. Keep coddling. Keep letting them get off the hook, and whatever the case may be. It's just gonna be going in a downward spiral, and nothing's gonna change.
And I got, shout out to our guy Turbo, Mr. Running Back. Check out this season. Mr. Turbo will be producing and starring in Turbo's Lifeline, aka Falcons games will be showed on the Dirty Birds Lair and the Falcons Nest for those who will not be able to see those primetime games. So we will have that going only in these two networks, and also the after party. You know, we want more after than we want. I just say that. So I believe we're gonna start off tomorrow with after party with my man Turbo running the tracks. But outside of that, though, let's get back to, you look at the society that we have now. The question is, when are these young men gonna start taking accountability for what they do? And when you can take accountability for what you're doing on the field, as Scoop said, it equates to life. You take that and transition that into life. So we got to start, with the kids that are around now. If you are a parent, if you're a coach, start holding these kids and young people responsible for everything that they do. We won't have many incidents like this if we do what we need to do on our side of the house. Now, let's get to the fun stuff.
Oh, yeah.
The Dirty Birds, baby.
Go.
Birthday boy today. I'm gonna go ahead and kick this one to him first. See, I'm showing you a lot of love today, dog. It's your birthday.
It's all good, man. It's all good. It's all good.
So let's talk about it. Falcons, their front seven, bully, more like Debo. I'm sorry, just like Debo, snatched their chain in the trenches, just bullied them.
Yep.
Now everybody looked at the Tyreek Hill clip or whatnot. Tyreek doing, that's Tyreek Hill. He's gonna do that to everybody.
Tyreek, yep.
Let's be real. Let's talk about the front seven, how they manhandled that offensive line and made Tua uncomfortable for the day. Please go ahead, Melton.
Yeah, I mean, everything that I've got to see clip-wise and red-wise, I mean, our defensive line was pushing people around, getting through, getting the Tua, causing pressure on him, throwing picks. Everybody's talked about the D-line, how much they've improved. I mean, I swear, I think we're coming with a top 10 D overall if our DBs stay healthy.
Okay. Well, let's talk to the residential coach on this one, Coach.
I hope you're right.
Yeah, I hope I'm right too. I'm telling you.
I do. No, I'm with you, man.
They're already looking. We're already higher, in the top 20 as a defense right now for the first time in God knows how long before the season starts. So why not have a couple of good games, get us into the top 10, stay healthy?
Here's the question.
I mean, you got two things. We got a linebacker that's played in that system before, and you've got a defensive tackle that have played in that system before, and then you got old heads that are already there, Grady and Calais Campbell, and they're pretty cerebral. I mean, you don't get to stay in the league as long as they've been in it without being able to pick things up pretty quickly. So that's going to be the main thing for us. And I'll be honest with you, I'm impressed with our linebackers right now. We've been lacking there for quite some time. And listen, when Deion Jones came up his rookie year, he played hard. He was a thumper, and then he started playing catcher and started hugging people. And that's why he's unemployed right now. So I'm not trying to be mean. I mean, but you can't be a little 215-pound guy in the NFL and be a hugger. You can't do it. You got to strike people. And, we got to get back to that, I mean, that's going to set the tone. If they do their job up front, it takes the pressure off the guys in the back,
It's beautiful. Hold up. It's beautiful to hear a wide receiver just praising the defensive side of the ball. Just make me happy. Just make me happy. I'm crying tears of joy. We got a wide receiver talking about the linebackers. I'm loving it.
Yeah.
I mean, as an offensive coordinator, I had to know what was going on, and that's where it all starts.
Of course.
So
I guess it's surprising to hear that our defense, is going to be legit, at least top 10, top 15, because of our actions that we've had the last few past seasons. So, I mean, it's a breath of fresh air. We put a lot of money and effort into rebuilding it, and I think it's coming along fruitfully. We just got hope for the injury bug to stay away, and we'll be grateful in our return.
I gotta wait before I put a stamp on that one, K-Dub. I gotta see it because I want us to get in top 15 because here's the thing. Everybody is gonna look good in scrimmages. I gotta see what's gonna happen, like we always say, when those live rounds start coming. When you're like AK-47 having a chance to get off the edge. Let's see if he's gonna get off. Let's see if he's gonna get off on that 300-pounder, and let's see if he's gonna sit there and thump a quarterback. Yeah, I slap my hand because I get passionate when I talk about hitting quarterbacks. That's like, Lord, that's the coup de grace for me. But I'm just being honest.
So
we got to see what this system is going to look like. We know it's going to be an attack defense. Very different than what we've had in a while. Very different. And the question is, how's this front seven going to gel? Like, we're seeing clips of things, but let's see when they get hit in the mouth, how do they respond? What are they going to do? What happens? What is like? It's so many things we got to look for, and I'm not trying to be a wet blanket, but at the same time, we've seen this before where they look great in preseason. They look great in training camp. and we get our feelings hurt during the season.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, we gotta see what they do. I mean, preseason is just pretty much a freaking preview of what we're gonna see.
Well, I don't remember us being that great in preseason last year.
I know.
Well, no. I know you don't with that one, but I'm saying
Okay.
I want them to prove. Here's the thing: I'm not putting expectations on this defense. And the reason I'm saying that is because I want to see what they're like before I even open my mouth about it. Because we don't even know who's gonna start. That's the thing, because you got people coming in and out like a Chinese fire drill, and you look at what's going on right now at the secondary. You know what I'm saying? Right now, we already know Bates and AJ are locks. We don't even know who's going to be the safety and who's going to be the other corner, because people are getting banged up. People are getting hurt. So you don't know if it's going to be Mike Hughes. You don't know if it's going to be Mike Hughes. You don't know if it's going to be, it's so people that we're going to have coming in or whatnot. You just don't know just yet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I agree.
That's why I say I gotta reserve my judgment on that or whatnot, And for me, I feel like defensively, I just gotta see some more. I gotta definitely see some more.
Turbo saying 11-6. That sounds like my prediction too. Turbo 10 or 11 wins. That sounds just about right.
I say 10-7.
No,
I'm saying 10-7.
10-11 wins. That's me, man.
Getting back to the preseason, though, I mean, I could care less if we win or not on that. What I'm looking for as a coach is I want to see quality reps. That's what I want to see. I'm giving you a job to do and a task, and I want you to go out there. Can you do it? Can you do what I'm asking you to do? And if you can't, next man up. Let's go. We're finally starting to build up some depth, and you've heard me say this many times throughout the season last year and offseason. You have to have layers. You have to have layers. You have to be you got to be able to be going the same speed in the fourth quarter that you are in the first quarter, and that only comes with depth. Nobody can go the whole game. You can't do that anymore. The game's changed too much. I mean, 35, 40 years ago, people used to not come off the field. You can't do it now. I don't care who you are. So I want to see the guys getting put in positions to where they can go out and do their jobs. And if it means making mistakes, everybody went crazy because I'm jumping to the offensive side just because it's an example right on the tip of my tongue. When Ritter threw one INT, so what? He might have. People are very cerebral when they get to that level and they're learning something. They might have shown him something he's not seen before, but guess what? Next time he's going to be like, I'm not going to do that. So, learn from your mistakes. Right now is the time to do it and put yourself in a position where you can do what they're asking you to do.
I agree with you, Coach, man. I don't care if we don't win no preseason game. I want to be consistent. I want to see how the team be able to gel and like you can get the rep, man. I just want to see how the coaches are going to coach. Thinking how the coach is going to coach the defense, man. How special team going to do?
I'm chomping to talk about some offense because I've seen some stuff that I'm already excited about right
don't
now.
Don't worry. We gonna get to it. We gonna get to it. But we got to talk about that. We got to address the side of the ball that no one likes to talk about.
I do.
Oh no, I'm not talking about you. We've heard this all about Ritter, but it's like, okay, everybody in this fan base is worried about. It's like, okay, he's gonna be able to run the ball. The thing that we have to control is that line of scrimmage. Can our defense get off the field on third down? Because if we don't get off the field on third down, how is that offense going to be able to control the clock? How are they able to score points and the field if they can't get off the field?
Yeah.
And I really feel like, man, we really, with this defensive line that we have, Eddie Goldman out the door. I'm like this. If you want to come back, tell him just go elsewhere. We don't need that energy over here because you don't know whether you want to be here, whether you want to play. But I really think we just need to just go ahead and just kick the ties with him. But one of the guys that I'm impressed with, and I'm going to talk about him a little more. Rookie safety DeMarco Hellams out of Alabama. Got to give it to him. Came in, head low, grinding. Him and Zach Harrison, who I compared Zach Harrison to Javon Curse. Same fit, same build, same 40 time, just the way that they attack pretty much offensive prowess from the run game and the passing game. You have those two guys that are mid-tier guys that were drafted, and you let them develop, they're going to be a very damn.
Yeah. I mean, just getting the player get rep and hearing them develop and getting better in the system and just what we all want to fan base, man. We just want to keep constant improvement. And like I said, man, special teams, man. We gotta be able to move the ball when it's on punt return coverage, and we gotta get better yardage on kickoff return coverage. If we can do those things and get off on third down, we're gonna be a playoff football team. I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm.
So tomorrow, I'm looking forward to seeing whether or not we get an update on the injury report, because if CP3 and DeMarco Hellams is healthy, I want to see them contribute tomorrow. And I'm really looking forward to seeing all 6 draft picks play tomorrow, because, you know, we seen the depth chart and everybody go up in there about Bijan Robinson being in the reserve spot, but they got to pay attention to how Arthur Smith run this program. So I just want to see them 6 draft picks, you know, contribute tomorrow. That'll be good to see.
For sure.
Yeah.
Man, I'm talking about this got to just go to work, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, we are making progress and showing and improving with this super speedy Dolphins offense that they're going against. Like I said, only thing we can do is beat the people in front of us. So right now, a lot of people thought we were going to get pushed around down there in Miami. So we already turning heads as we speak. So all we got to do is whoever lines up against us each week, hit them in the mouth. That's it. And all we can do is step by step. We can't get too far ahead of ourselves. And
well, you got to crawl before you walk, like you always say. And in this situation,
I was trying not to throw it out there, but we'll throw it
no,
out.
we got to. Hey, man, look, if you ain't gonna throw it out there, I gotta throw your trademark line out there, man.
Crawl before you
man.
walk.
It's not right if you don't throw it out there.
Crawl before you walk. Let's go.
But let's be real though. Now we're talking about crawling before we walk, and you look at the secondary. The secondary right now is finding itself. The pass rush is gonna be there. We already seeing that because we're hearing that guys are getting pushed. You know, guys are getting physical. Guys, think about it. When is the last time you heard about a Falcons team getting in a fight with another team? Minus Devontae Freeman's little midget behind. They got picked up, and he was the only one that was ready to fight.
Like a child.
Exactly. When you see that the Falcons got some fight in them, they don't mind throwing hands with you. Okay, you starting to win me over. This ain't Bible Belt football no more. Let's go ahead and let's get dirty and let's get nasty with it. We in the dirty South anyway. Let's get dirty with it.
I'm with it, man.
Hey, Ryan, you know one thing to slow down the receivers, Ryan. You know how you slow down the receivers, right? Get that one good shot on them. It's over with.
Yes, sir. You know how I go. Hey, you know how I go. You know what? No, I can't sit there and act like that because Coach Brandt, from what we were told, he was a scrappy receiver. You know, he got little man James Stewart, who played for the Jaguars and running back in the NFL, got his little brother thrown out of a football game. Now he's modest about that, and he ended up catching the game with a touchdown in that same game, which is crazy. You know, that still hurt my feelings, though. You know, you did.
Just gotta do your job, man. Just have to get after it.
Hey, but you know what's funny? Let's get to it. Now, you just mentioned that or whatnot. We're talking about how Tua struggled against this Falcons defense. And this is just, and I'm going to close it with this, talking about the defense right now. And before we get to some other stuff, let's be real. Tua, in the first day of joint practices, went 13 out of 21 for 131 yards with 2 interceptions. And now this is not with pressure. This is with 7-on-7 drills, and this is in 1-on-1 drills. that he literally struggled. Either he's not that good of a quarterback in Alabama. All these Alabama fans hyped him up because of that rainbow throw that he made, or he literally doesn't play good against good defense. What do y'all think?
I think he could be a little bit shell shocked from all those concussions he's taking.
Yeah, definitely.
Reflection upon, how good the Falcons defense is. You're ready to keep waiting and waiting and waiting. I mean, usually they just torture us. So I'm not waiting. I feel like we turned the corner and we just got to prove it on the field. But
if you're gonna bring a little Falcon fan in here like that, he better size up when he walk past that camera. You ain't just gonna walk. You're not just gonna walk in the cage and not speak like that.
That was a little daddy time, daddy love.
Oh yeah, but he a Falcon fan and trainer. We got to get him right. That's right, Daddy. Got to get him right.
Go out young, raise him right, baby.
Yes, sir.
Right.
But speaking about that, I mean, you just look at it. Atlanta's defense is starting to really kind of turn the corner, and a lot of people are mainly focused on that offense, but they're not focusing on this defense. It's funny, and like my guy, yes, sir. And like my guy Damian Mitchell said, son of the legendary Jim Mitchell, tight end, rest in peace, Mr. Mitchell. Think about it. The last time we had a defense that was nasty like this was the Grit Splits. That was the last defense we had that was just that wouldn't mind fighting.
Captain Craig and the crew.
Tom Pridemore, I'm still mad. Look, I'm still mad at Tom Pridemore to this day.
Why?
He cost us that game against Dallas in 1980. I'm not gonna get into it because I don't want Coach Brandt to start crying.
You're gonna make me cry again.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do you like that, Coach.
I remember watching that. I was tore up.
Pridemore should have went for the stinking tackle instead of the darn ball, especially with Drew Pearson. Jesus.
I wasn't even alive then. I agree.
But
there wouldn't have been the catch the following week had he made that play.
Yeah.
Nope. I believe we'd have taken him, but get into it. Dolphins defensive back. Well, let's get to this offensive side of the ball. Dolphins defensive back, Xavier Howard talked about he doesn't know who Desmond Ridder is.
Who's Xavier Howard?
a suspect defensive back.
Hey, he know who Kyle Pitts is.
Yeah,
exactly.
He know who Mack Hollis is too.
That's right.
Kyle Pitts was catching all over it behind. Yeah, he know.
And it was funny because Mack Hollis, Kyle Pitts, and Mack Hollis literally had their way with him. They took turns.
Hey, Matt Hollis looked like he
want a home.
Yep.
Mack Hollis want a home.
Yep.
He done been bounced around. Think about it. Philly gave that joker a one-way ticket or whatnot after they won the Super Bowl. They bounced him. And when you look at it, let's be real on this, man. Mack Hollis has got a North Carolina connection with Coach Arthur Smith. And you know them Carolina boys stick together.
Man, Mack Hollins caught a ball in the end zone and screamed out and said, "They too little," and then dunked on the goalpost.
And hold on. And then flexed on him afterwards.
Yeah. The hair just going everywhere.
Get our swag back, man. I like it.
Well, he already said he already said he wanted to be the savage of the team. He's already showing that.
Yep. He's a wild man.
I might look.
His new nickname is Captain Caveman.
You know what? You know what? See, you just gave me an idea. Thank you. You already know where I'm going with that, right?
Yeah.
I'm crediting you for that, but let's just be real though. I'm getting ready to run with that. But getting back to it though, offensively, we've done well in our drills. You didn't see many passes drop. You didn't really see too many. You really didn't see too many blown routes. Ridder was putting the ball on the money. Everybody wanted to talk about, he threw this interception. Think about it. How many routes did you see when he was pinpointing those guys and putting that ball right in the right spot?
Yep. Yeah, man.
Even with the deep passes, it took for him to leave Atlanta, go down to Miami, and you saw him hitting deep passes too.
Oh, yeah.
So I mean, what's the deal? Everybody, right now it's like this. No one's ever in this city ever gonna be like, and anybody that will come after him will literally live with that scrutiny.
Right. I mean,
go ahead.
What I was just gonna say, man, Desmond Ritter is gonna prove some people wrong.
Well,
he's gonna keep it a buck, man, cause he doesn't say anything. He just keep it work, and that's all we can want out of a quarterback, out of QB1 is showing up. He got the locker room on him. I mean, behind him, you got players that want to play. You got Pitt, Holland, everybody on the offense rooting for this man, and you don't care what it. All I know the Xavier Howard, Steve Smith, all these other cats were talking about, man. He just putting in the work. So for me, hey, I'm like him, man. Don't talk about it, man. Be about it. Just let the action speak for itself.
Here's my thing. Here's my thing about Ritter going into this season. Just look, if he completes 67 to 70% of his passes and controls his turnovers, we're going to be a problem for a lot of people the way we can run the football.
Right.
I'm telling you right now, if he can and just make – I'm not telling him to go out and be Lamar Jackson running the ball. Hey, be a timely runner. Run when you have to. Be smart. Get out of bounds. Extend plays. Run when you have to. But I'm telling you, if he can hit that percentage of completion, we're going to be hard to handle, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
What do you think,
all
Scoop?
I'm saying, yeah, Scoop, what you got?
You like Adam right now on the news, man.
Scoop got business over there. He already negotiating contracts right now.
Yeah, you know I done missed the whole question. What were the questions?
No, I was just saying for
we talk
Ritter,
about
if he completes 67% of his passes and is a timely runner and doesn't turn the ball over, we're going to be a problem for a lot of folks because the way we run the football.
So that's what I'm saying, Coach. Like, people keep trying to like compare Ritter to a Burrow or a Mahomes and saying that he's not the top of his class or whatever it is. Like,
you're talking about the two best quarterbacks in the league right now. He doesn't have to do that.
Right.
Nope.
And this offense don't require him to do that.
Exactly.
So if anything, I'm going to compare him to like a Jalen Hurts. The Jalen Hurts in that Philly offense, he had to hand the ball off more times than not. And that opened up the door for passing lanes where he can make big plays. So you get those explosives. Desmond has like weapons all around him. So it's like no excuse. We just gonna be having people that's gonna be wide open, and that's where you're gonna get his yards from. It ain't gonna be about, you bombs away, you throwing 5 and 6 deep balls a game. That ain't even about this offense. So people just have it misconstrued. They have a video game mentality when they need to look at the whole schematic of the game.
Pretty much philosophy.
Well, let's keep it real or whatever. When you look at that offense, that Arthur Smith coached down in Tennessee, they had a great running back, and they still have him. He's a little bit more seasoned now. But you had Derrick Henry in that backfield, which took a lot of pressure off of Tannehill. Took a lot of pressure off him. Because if you ever look at how those defense played, most of the defenses that actually ended up playing against that offense, they all stacked the box because they were more afraid of what Derrick Henry would do to them opposed to what Tannehill would do. And the difference between Ritter and Tannehill is this. Ritter's a little quicker on his feet. That's the only difference. And Ritter could hurt you a lot more than you think. Like, a lot of people really don't realize that he is a dual threat quarterback, but they want to say, oh, he's a pocket passer. No, he runs when he needs to. And the thing is, if you watched him at Cincinnati, the kid can throw a beautiful deep pass, and he can also get out of dodge, which he's shown. So I see a lot of third downs being converted. If we're going to run the screen game, if it's not there, he might tuck it and just go. But the one thing about the kid is he's very intelligent with his decision-making with the football. He will not put the football in harm's way. Now, course, he made some rookie mistakes last year. Everybody was like, oh, he waited all the way to the end of the season to throw a touchdown. Let's be real. His first touchdown was the Cordell Patterson that got called back in New Orleans in his first start.
Yep.
It got called back because of a holding call. So all I'm saying is the kid can play. He just needs more time to show it, and he needs to get the speed of the game down and under his system. And I honestly believe he could throw maybe about 31 touchdowns this year. That's just me.
I just feel like the season just needs to open up. Let that guy go do what he needs to go do, man. I just feel like all this negativity, all this banner back and forth is because the season hasn't started. Once he goes out there and start winning, you'll be a whole lot more people that's Team Ritter. It's just, it's just the doubt that's out there. I feel like he's done everything he needs to do. He needs to block out the outside noise and continue to play the best of his ability. Everywhere he's been, he's won. So, I mean, what else can I do but perform?
Here's another thing. He's got the sport of the locker room. All the stuff you're hearing is outside. It's white noise. It's just noise that you hear like on the TV when the station's not coming in good. At least he doesn't have his own teammate called him like Dak has going on. That's issues. You know what I mean? Let's be real. He's a second-year player, and everybody's in his corner. Let the guy go play.
Yeah, they was in his corner last year.
Yeah.
They ready for him.
And here's the thing. When you have veterans like a Calais Campbell, who's been on many different teams, he's been in the playoffs before, he's been in that locker room. He was on that team that got robbed in New England with that Jacksonville team. Because I'll be honest with you, if New England does not rob Jacksonville of that, that interception that Miles Jack had, they go to the Super Bowl. New England had no answer for them at all. Just like they had no answer for us. But let's just be real on this. When you got him, you got Bud Dupree, Jesse Bates played in the AFC against all those killer quarterbacks Jesse Bates got to see. And he got to see Pat Mahomes quite a bit in the AFC. And he also got to see Lamar Jackson twice a year. He got
Burrow
to see,
in practice.
Just think about it. And then you got Joe Burrow. So when you look at it, if you got Jesse Bates vouching for you, if you have him vouching for you, that's telling you something. Because this man went up against top-tier talent all the time. Yeah. He's not the number 6 safety in the league for a reason. I think he should have been ranked in the top 3. That's just my opinion. But hey, what do I know? I'm just a guy that just gets on here with my Falcon family, and we just talk a little trash.
Nah, man, I agree, man. I think with Coach Brent had it back, man. He had the support of the locker room. When you got support of the locker room, man, it gives you confidence, lets you know, hey, we can do this, and whatever the case may be. So I'm not worried about anybody else that's not in the red and black, or the white and red or whatever. I'm worried about everybody on this team. I'm looking forward to what tomorrow's going to bring. So let's just get at it.
And you can click on the StreamYard link that's in Facebook so we can see who you are. It'll be cool. Help us recognize you, give you some credit for your comments or whatnot. He said practice is cool, but game reps are completely different because you're not being hit, pressured. Ritter first game had a lot of jitters. It showed. In the last 3, he settled down and showed that he can be more of a capable QB for us. Agreed. That's why we were saying, even in that first game when he settled down, you watch some of the throws he was making against New Orleans, and they had their starters after him. And once he figured it out, he was starting to pick them apart. So it's just what it is, man. We'll definitely see, but if Xavier Howard's name is not even mentioned for the defensive backs being a top defensive back this year, I'm not trying to hear it. And speaking of defensive backs, let's get to it. The defensive back secondary is being tested in Atlanta right now. You saw Clark Phillips III go down, and then you also saw Jeff Okudah go down, unfortunately. And, Okudah should be back at least in between week 1 to 3, and Clark Phillips III is a day-to-day. And those guys were making plays before they got hurt. They were both making plays. So what do you think is going to be the really big test of this secondary? Because we're already starting to see guys drop like flies already.
I think for me, man, who gonna step up? Do we see don't beat me, Grant finally take that step that we want him to be that guy when somebody's injured? Or do we keep somebody else that we never heard of just blindside us and start to show what they can do with the defense? I mean, Jeff Okuda was we really banking on him being the number 2 right behind our other star cornerback, and he went down. Hopefully he'll be back, I think, about week 2, week 3. Clark Phillips III is the person I really wanted to keep. I think that dude just got so much potential. It can be the X factor on the defensive side of the ball. So hopefully we can keep him by the second or third preseason game. But if that Mike Tomlin philosophy, man, it's next man up.
And the thing is, if you talk about, this kid Clark Phillips III, he's like I said, he's a carbon copy of the legendary Aeneas Williams. Same size, same techniques. They're both fundamentally sound, and they will come up and hit you in the mouth. And they can run. So if I had to compare him to a cornerback, that's who I would compare him to. He's not he doesn't have to be the flashiest guy, but he's a guy that's going to stand out because he makes plays. So I see Clark Phillips III being that slot guy, being the money guy, really where Oliver was at last year, being in that slot, really embellishing that role, and Jeff Okuda being the big dog on the outside. Now, if Okuda can't hold his spot down, whether it be injury or whether he's not productive, I see Clark Phillips III being transitioned over to that other cornerback spot, and then you bring Mike Hughes right into that slot corner. It's simple as that. When it comes to the cornerback spot, safety spot, you got Richie Grant that's still there. We'll see what he can do. But my thing is, I'm still banking on Jalen Hawkins being a dude that's going to be the other guy on the field. I might be wrong.
The best thing that can happen is Jesse Bates be an example for Richie Grant. I mean, you're watching a consummate pro go do his job. Pay attention, learn from him. He's got the ability. I just want to start taking the right angles. That just be in the right spot. He'll come up and hit every now and then. Just get in the right spot would be the best thing for us if he can. That just gives us added depth.
You got to learn how to play pool first, Coach. You got to learn how to take.
I know them angles, but hey, somebody might rub off on them. We need all the depth we can get.
I don't want y'all to sleep on Trey Flowers being that bag up number 2 corner.
Not at all. Not at all.
He's a KG vet. He's been around.
Yeah.
Yep.
6'3".
Yep.
And Jerry Gray is high on D. Alford. Jerry Gray is high on D. Alford. If anybody can see the interview this week, Jerry Gray loves that kid because you could tell in the way that he talked about him, because he was like, hey, I got to coach against Tyreek Hill 2 times a year back when I was elsewhere in the AFC before I went to Green Bay. I got to coach against guys with speed. What we need to do, like Jerry Gray was saying, as a defensive back, you got to go back to the fundamentals. It don't matter whether you're in Flowery Branch. Doesn't matter whether you're here in South Beach, Miami. You have to go back to the fundamentals. And you have to be in a situation to where you use those fundamentals, because the fundamentals are going to travel with you like a running game travels with a team. Point blank, period.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
And with D Alford, what's going on, Tonio? We actually are talking about D Alford currently, bro.
We're talking about, man. Let's go.
Yeah, we're talking about him right now. So the thing was, go ahead, Killian. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying it's a lot of DBs. I mean, it's a lot of DBs that we're not talking about. I just feel like the best football players gonna win out, and the injury bug. You gotta outbeat the injuries, because like these guys are going down like just like used cars on the side of the road, man. I mean, we gotta make sure who's gonna be able to play, who's gonna be in there to plug in there to start every week, who's gonna be able to play through injuries. We gotta see all that. So I just feel like a lot of competition out there, and it'll settle itself out by week 1, week 2. So here we go.
And people in their own right, if you don't know anything about Jerry Gray, do your homework on him. He was a first-round draft pick. He was an All-American at Texas. Played for Jerry Glanville's squad in Houston, and he also played for the Los Angeles Rams at one point too in his career. And he was a very solid cornerback throughout his career, and went to a Pro Bowl in his career. But he's been a very good defensive back coach, and he's helped a lot of young guys turn the corner, from Pac-Man Jones to what's the kid's name? Eric Stokes out of Green Bay right now, minus the injury he had. Stokes been stomping the ground because Jerry Gray had his hands all on him. So these young DBs that we've taken, DeMarco Hellams, Clark Phillips III, I really see Jerry Gray is going to have fingerprints on them cats, man. So, and getting to Jerry Gray, what do you feel the expectations are going to be for Coach Gray coming up this year with this secondary? Because he's a cornerback whisperer and a safety whisperer. What do you think he's going to bring to the table for these guys that are coming into the fold? I'm gonna let the birthday boy start this one, and I want Killian to get this one afterwards.
His experience for one. You got to go with his experience.
I guess he faded out for a sec. He'll be right back. But Killian, while we're waiting on him to come back, go ahead and what are your expectations for Jerry Gray, and knowing his history and knowing what he brings to the table, being a former defensive back and really working with some of the game's best?
Well, like I said, piggyback on what you trying to say, the experience is being a tenured player that played in the league and coach. You just know how to get the best out of guys. So what he's going to do to that room is basically, break them down and get the footwork down and get the fundamentals right. That's the key thing. Get the fundamentals right. Like I said, teach them how to play a little bit of pool, like you were saying, how to take the right angles. And like I said, just the experience and the longevity he's been in the league. You have to have those guys full attention, man. Have a clear and great vision of the room and the package.
Hey, before you go to the next topic, man, it's very simple. How many of y'all get nervous when we up in the fourth quarter?
Thank you.
Oh, hell yeah. Yes.
So when you answering this question, I want to be able to close.
Thank you. That's it.
Jerry Gray is brought here for us in our secondary to close games out.
Yeah.
Simple.
He was one of the most important hires we did in the offseason.
Agreed.
Improving our
it would have either been Jerry Gray or the gentleman who was in Carolina. That was another guy, Steve Wilkes, that we looked at. Steve Wilkes was another. If we wouldn't have taken Jerry Gray, Steve Wilkes was going to be the other guy that we hired.
He should have got hired as a head coach. They did that man wrong.
But that's okay. You know what? I agree.
I know, but he's a solid coach.
But here's the thing: we would have been seeing him twice a year, and you saw what he did with Carolina in the middle of the season. Imagine if he started the season off as the head coach, what they would have done.
It would have been a problem.
Yep.
It's fun. Jerry Gray, for me, I want to see him be able to teach our DBs how to play matchup zone. You know exactly what I'm talking about because
I'm looking away because none of Jerry Glanville's defenses have ever been good at playing match away zone like that, ever.
You know exactly, Scoop and Ryan, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The more modern term for it is called chains defense. I could still play off you, but I'm still playing man in my zone right there. I'm not letting you get to the first down marker.
We got to communicate.
Yes, absolutely, man. Because as an offensive guy, I'd have smoked you like a cigarette if you'd have been playing like that. I'd have lit you up,
But but here's the problem: Jerry Glanville's defense, and we already know that Jerry Gray is stupid at because he played for him, but he also played for the Rams at one point too, for John Robinson back in the day. I'm sorry, no, for Chuck Knox. Excuse me, not John Robinson, Chuck Knox. And when you look at it, those defenses that he came with were very aggressive, very physical, but the problem was they got picked apart in that secondary. The question is, are any of these defenses in a situation to where if we're in a game time situation where we're sitting back on our heels, we literally are in a situation where we got to stop the game. Stop these guys from coming down the field and passing and getting in the field goal range. Who's going to be that defensive back that's going to make a play outside of AJ Terrell? Who's going to be the guy outside of Jesse Bates? You know what I'm saying? That's going to be on that other side that's going to make plays.
Yep.
Prime example, Carolina, that Carolina that almost beat us if it wasn't for freaking unsportsmanlike conduct, 15-yard penalty that shanked the freaking extra point that we got it back in overtime. So anybody want to know why we got freaking Mr. Gray here? Go back to that game. That's all you need to know.
Now, getting to the next topic, Bijan Robinson, his spot in the pecking order. We're gonna talk a little offensive coach. I'm not gonna hog up all the defensive talk. You know, we gotta let Coach cook tonight a little bit. Bijan Robinson is gonna be on the depth chart right now, third string running back. He's backing up Tyler Algier and Cordell Patterson currently.
He should be.
Mm-hmm.
He should. I mean, what's the question?
No, go ahead and explain, because we have people saying he shouldn't be in the third spot. He was a number 1 draft pick. Hell, Tony Dorsett was the first round draft pick.
What has he done?
Thank you. Tony Dorsett was kept on the bench by Preston Pearson, and he was a first round draft pick, Heisman Trophy winner. So
and Derrick Henry didn't even start for 2 years. Come on, I mean,
DeMarco Murray.
Yeah, I mean, Algier just set a rookie record and was a 5th round draft pick and split with 3 people last year. I don't care who starts. It doesn't matter. Do your job. Stay healthy. Stay healthy. We need a 3-headed monster in the first quarter, the second quarter, the third quarter, and the fourth quarter. We need fresh legs. That's what we need. Who cares? Let the kid learn how to learn his playbook right now and learn how to be a pro right now instead of throwing everything at him. Right, just learn.
I think
learn from those 2 guys.
Yeah, I think people forget that we had a 1,000-year rusher by the name of Tyler Algier last year, and now all of a sudden now we draft Bijan Robinson in the 8th. That supposed to trump a 1,000-yard rusher that pretty much been proven. I mean,
and Glenn, you know what the funny part about that is? We couldn't throw the damn ball in the ocean from the beach. Everybody knew we was going to run it.
Exactly.
And we still did it.
Wait a minute. Now, see, y'all keep no. See, he didn't just break and set a rookie record. Let me go ahead and put this out here. And I know Brent.
I don't hush. You know, I was trying not to say that.
No, I know that's your favorite player, but I got to say it. Hell, my favorite player. Look, Emmitt Smith broke my favorite player's record, so I can't. I'm still hurt about that, and that was a Gator on top of that. But let's be real. Tyler Algier broke a 40-year-old record set by William Andrews. So many running backs have come through Atlanta that hadn't even sniffed that record.
Yeah.
And Tyler Algier did it with 3 backs in front of him.
Yeah, he didn't even get as much clock as he should early in the season. He could have been
exactly. Think about
it. Passing game to complement anything last year. None.
And for you to break William Andrews' record, a Falcons legend, you broke his record, and you did it on half the carries. You had less carries than William had in his rookie year, and you did it. Yeah. That tells you it doesn't matter what round you drafted in. If a guy can play, a guy can play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All this first, I'm gonna throw a stat out here for most of these folks that are here that are watching. How many first round picks since 2015 have remained in Atlanta?
I can name one.
You might have three of those guys that have remained.
Oh, yeah. I got one right now.
Yeah. Chris Lindstrom, Jake Matthews.
Well, I forgot Lindstrom just re-upped, but
AJ Terrell.
Yeah,
and AJ Terrell. Those are the ones that have stayed. Because everybody swore Keanu Neal was the second coming of Ronnie Lott. We see what he is. Gone. First round. The Bible. See what happened to him when he had one good year and he fell off like a bad bag of dope. Gone. Let's just be honest. Look at Tack McKinley. We gonna get to the damn quarterback. Okay, let's see. Gone.
Mostly with our offensive players stick. Like Caleb McGarry was first round, right?
Yeah, yep. McGarry still stuck.
It's the defense we can't seem to draft. That's why we went out the defense in free agency. You know what I'm saying?
But here's the thing.
Harping on that.
When are you gonna take a gamble? Because these old guys are not gonna last that long. You got to start replenishing the young guys, man.
I mean, I'm just letting you know the history. We could change history. You can change history, but the history is we do not draft very well on the defense side of football.
We are good.
That's not true, because I can actually tell you this here. Think about it. We have all the Hall of Famers that have been Falcon players are defensive players.
Yep.
Eric Dickerson didn't stay that long in Atlanta, so if anybody tries to throw that out, please don't even put that there. He didn't stay long. He retired from it. But Claude Humphrey, Deion Sanders, I mean, we got two Hall of Famers that are Falcon defenders. We have no offensive. We should
have 4.
Yeah, we should.
I agree. Tommy Nobis and Jesse Tucker are the other 2 that should be already up in there.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I mean, they should
but
be.
Here's the thing. We were better at drafting defense at one point before everything changed over.
Yeah.
If you play that game, we weren't good drafting offensive linemen. That doesn't stop us from drafting freaking linemen.
That's true.
Well, we know Jeff Van Note was a defensive lineman originally. They converted him to being the center.
Yeah.
So we'll, like I said, we'll just say this. In this regime, during our we were the last generation to see actually good Falcon defenders get drafted with the team. We were the last generation to really see that. And we started seeing the influx of offensive players.
I agree.
So what we're going to have to do now is we're going to have to figure this out. Now, a lot of people were pissed because we didn't take Jalen Carter. I'm one. I'll admit it. But you know what? Draft is over with. We got what we have what we have. We've got a veteran in David Onyemata, who is a problem child, who understands the defense, who is very tough in the trenches, and you got to give the man a chance in Atlanta before you write him off. He's still in his prime. So we do have a defender that's already groomed that we don't have to worry about grooming. I will give you that. But eventually Grady Jarrett going to retire. Who's going to be his replacement? And Onyemata's not too much older than Grady. I mean, Grady's not too much older than Onyemata, excuse me.
Well, could be drafted in this next year's draft. We could be in free agency. We get these guys replacement. I mean, you can get young guys in free agency. Sometimes we just went after older guys this year because this team needed some veteran leadership.
So the question is, when we gonna start getting them through the draft?
No, that's what I said. This next upcoming draft, you could start to replenish some of this defensive power that we need.
But are you gonna take? But here's the thing: are we gonna suffer through having offensive players taken in the first 2 rounds? Or are we going to finally start taking defensive players in this Arthur Smith regime?
Well, I look at it like this. You're not going to get these offensive players in the draft when you're winning. The only reason why we was drafting all these offensive playmakers is because we were trying to afford to have playmakers versus having to go out here and sign free agents because we didn't have no money. So the cheapest way to get playmakers is to go ahead and go through the draft. So now with us, establishing a culture now, we win, we made the playoffs, we started, building up that culture, building up that momentum. Now you could draft a Jalen Carter or a Jordan Davis in the first round. Because I know we all Georgia fans except for coach. I mean,
we would have taken that kid. We would have taken that kid from that defensive end, Brian Young from Tennessee. We'd have taken him in a heartbeat.
Right.
Yeah.
And he was a monster. And I still say that now.
Yep. He's a player.
Ooh, okay. So King Richie just commented on this right here. He says if it's one offensive player that he wants to put with Pitts, it's Brock Bowers. Well, here's the thing. If you put Brock Bowers here, you'll have a real tight end, and Pitts will end up being a wide receiver. You can laugh all you want to. Brock Bowers ended up getting the John Mackey Award as a sophomore. Should have been nominated as a freshman. Just saying.
Well, listen, everybody knows Brock Bowers is the best tight end in the country. And if we're drafting him next year, we had a crappy year this year. So it ain't going to happen. So it's just, Do I want him? Yes. Do I hope we get him? At this point, no. I'd rather go ahead and go deep in the playoffs.
Yeah, we want to be picking
because that dude right there is different than everybody else. He's something else.
Yeah, he's special.
I just don't want him. I just don't want him coming in the division. If he ain't with us, I don't want him in the division because we already know what's gonna happen if he's in there.
Rob can go number 1 overall next year, possibly. He I say it like that. He top 3.
He's a guy that you would trade the farm for. That is a guy that you give up picks to go get. First round.
He could generational. This dude is just a monster. But for me, I don't want to draft nothing in a top 15, top 20. I want to be like 24. That means we made it to the playoff and did something. I mean, that's what I'm thinking. Like,
well, guy Richie seems to believe this too, and I kind of agree with Richie on this. I believe Arthur Smith would sell the farm to get Brock Bowers to Atlanta. I can see him doing that.
We don't need that, man. I mean,
no, we don't. But think about it though. We didn't need a running back either, but we took one, right?
True. But he wanted to be more dynamic on offense. Man, we got.
And there were many. And here's the thing: you had many running backs who had the same skill set, who were just as talented as that dude. Kenny McIntosh is one. Tajay Spears out of Tulane is a guy that you could have gotten in a lower round with it. I'm just saying.
Let's let this season play out. I guarantee you, Bijan Robinson is going to give us Mike Vick vibes. That's my bold prediction.
But here's the thing, though. But you know that we're going to put him in a position to really shine, which offensive coordinators are supposed to do with your talent. But you know there are guys that were just as good as him when it came to that.
Agreed. I mean,
we're going to see.
And the only reason why
we're talking about something that we ain't seen yet.
Yeah.
So for you, when now we're saying it's something that we haven't seen yet. So here's a question I have for you. Now, running back is the one position that transitions a lot faster than everybody else.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And when you talk about being able to transition a lot faster than everybody else, you're speaking on guys being in a situation where all they got to do is run. Once you learn your move,
you better learn the pass block because you're getting your number one asset knocked out. That's why Jamal Lewis didn't start as a freshman at UT.
Neither did Tony.
Yeah.
And they had him as a spot player, putting him in positions to where they were still learning the system, but they were able to use that system where they were able to run the ball and still come out of the backfield catch.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That used to make me nervous when I had a hotshot young running back coming up and I had to have him pass blocking. It used to make me woo. I didn't like that.
I mean, I just think, man, looking at our tight ends, man, we got Kyle Pitt, we got Jonnu Smith, who we just acquired. We got Pruitt now. And that's one of the last positions I'm worried about.
What I'm looking at, we have so much versatility on offense right now that with our tight ends and our receivers and our running backs, the versatility that you have, we can keep people from subbing on us and we can create matchups finally. And I mean, you've heard me say this a million times. If I can make you play me straight up and not overload me, I got you. I got you where I want you. So
we should be
I mean, what did you see? What did you notice? What CP was doing in practice the other day?
They had CP in the slot a lot more.
Exactly.
They also had him lined up outside too.
But you know what's going to happen? I've been saying this since last year. You're going to see him line up a lot in the backfield, and you're going to see him motion out, and you're going to see him play that number 3 right there because you're going to see him on those linebackers, and that's a mismatch all day long.
But Coach, you called that last year.
Coach, I could see a lineup with all 3 running backs out there on the field at the same time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can be empty, or you can go 2 backs, or you can go spread open. You can go 11 person. I mean, it's people can't sub on you.
I got one for you, Coach.
You play a little bit of tempo with it, man. You start and the way you can run the ball, that gets dangerous.
Well, I'm gonna make you, even though he was supposed to join us tonight, I got to mention your guy Freddie Maggard, your former coach, who's a Kentucky sports personnel. Shout out to Mr. Maggard. He'll be joining us eventually one day. It's a guy that I feel like is gonna be the breakout guy on offense, and nobody's talking about it. Me, Scoop, and I are the only ones who talked about it when we took him. Kid out of Kentucky, Josh Ali.
Oh, yeah.
That guy right there. And
I know exactly who he is.
And when you look at what he's done when they put him in positions against a lot of those veteran corners and safeties in Miami, he's made them look bad.
Yep.
He's made them look bad. And I'm saying this because Josh Ali is going to.
I'm asking a legitimate question here before. What do y'all think is going to wind up happening with Keith Smith?
I don't think Keith Smith goes anywhere because we still use the fullback in our offense. I think that his role might be reduced a little bit because Bijan gives the opportunity for you to pass the ball out of the backfield more than Tyler does. Even though Tyler's not that bad of a receiver, he's just not compared to Bijan. But Keith Smith will still be used. He'll be utilized in his offense.
Yeah, goal line. Keith would definitely be pivotal.
Well, Killian.
I mean, like I said, they'll all be used in a key role. Is it what? I thought you was going to start talking.
He freezing up.
Who, me?
I'm here.
Oh, okay. No, I thought you were going to talk, man.
No, I waited for us. I had waited for a second. I was just looking, just waiting. But no, what I was gonna say was when you talk about Keith Smith, the other thing that a lot of people forget is Keith Smith can actually come out of the backfield and he can actually catch the football as well. That's something else that we don't talk about too much. And he's a guy, it's like Arthur Smith literally has our offense being a clock control offense, hands down. So you're going to have big backs. You're going to have guys that can do multiple things. And in the red zone, we have no excuse of why the Falcons aren't going to be the best offense in the red zone. You got Kyle Pitts. You got Cordell Patterson. You have Drake London. We hadn't even talked about Draco. We talked about him last week, but you got Draco. You have Mack Hollis, who is a problem. You know what I'm saying? And
I think Jonnu Smith's going to be our breakout player this year.
Yeah,
and I was getting ready to say Jonnu was the other guy in the red zone. We have no problem.
He knows how to use him. Let's put it that way. He's done it before. He knows how to use him.
And Jonnu can throw the football too. That's something else everybody don't know. If you hadn't looked,
he can run the football too.
Yeah, it's gonna be a collection, man. It's all about the packages that we're gonna be putting out there on the field, man. We're gonna be overloaded and just gonna keep guys guessing, man, because we got so many weapons right now. I mean, Desmond Ridder's really, I think he's trying to keep it close to the vest, but he knows he has a lot of weapons. I think he has more weapons he's ever had in his career. So he's going to be like a kid in the candy store, man. And just all they got to do is really stay clean and distribute the football.
67% is that target line, I'm telling you. You stay there in the north of it and control your turnovers, and that's your benchmark.
I agree.
Have like 20 touchdowns to 5.
Well, getting back to it or whatnot, we already talked about Mack Hollis and DeMarco Hellams. And we already just mentioned our breakout players. Like we were saying, I said it's gonna be out of Josh Ali and it's gonna be Mack Hollis because Mack is playing at he's playing like a man that wants a home and he's starving. So Captain Caveman is his nickname, dubbed by Mr. Scoop, aka the Black Wall Street. Got to give him that. That's his nick. That's what we call him now. That's Captain Caveman.
Captain Caveman. Hey, if he played, I'm all for it, man. Let's go.
And so, last but not least, we got to get to the old man, Calais Campbell, the old dog. Calais Campbell is turning back the hands of time. He's already talked about in the media. He's invested $300,000 just into his diet for the year, and he's also he says he's lost a little bit of weight, even though he was in good shape already. He said he cut a little weight because he wants to be able to move a little bit. And if you watched him in the drills, he was moving 2 guys at once. He still got that. You know how they say when you get to be an old man, you get that grown man strength? Yeah. He's got grown man strength right now. And he's 36 years old, which is an old man in the NFL, but young in the regular world. But I think Calais Campbell investing into his body and being in a situation where he's healthy and he still can be a valuable part of this defense. And really, like you said, he's going to be second in command with Grady, because this is Grady's team. But I got to call it. I'm dubbing Atlanta this. We calling this Sacklanta, Georgia, baby. Sacklanta, baby. Calais Campbell, David Onyemata, you got Bud Dupree, you got D'Angelo Malone, you got AK-47. We got to make sure he ain't shooting blanks this year. He got to have some fire coming up out of that.
Caden Ellis,
baby. You got Caden Ellis. And you got Troy Anderson. Yeah, man, I mean, you looking at it.
Ellis, man.
I'm nicknaming our defense Sacklanta, baby, because
Troy Anderson, aka Thor.
Thank you. And when you talk about Sacklanta, Georgia, baby, you're talking about an aggressive style defense that we're gonna play with. Killian talked about this the other day, and he was like, "Man, we can't call our defense Grits Blitz 2.0. Grits Blitz was a different era and a different time." Right. So guess what? Everybody talk about them $5 sacks and stuff like that. I got 5 on it. You gonna have 5 D linemen on it, baby, like the song say. So that's why I'm calling it Sacklanta, baby. I expect at least everybody on this defense to have a sack before this year's over.
Oh, good man.
I agree with
that.
That's
just me.
Hey, you ain't even talked about the secret weapon, Zach Harrison.
Nope. Yeah. You know what? I didn't want to put that out there. I talked about him early. I said that's Javon Curse 2.0, and he literally is. So
that's pretty good, man. If everybody go get me one, them sacks add up. I just need one from everybody.
Man, we calling this Sacklanta, Georgia, baby.
I just like the fact that Campbell just took the time just to put that much money into health and his body. He fully committed to the culture and the philosophy to Atlanta, and I'm glad they pairing him with Grady, because Grady has another voice in that locker room. He talked, everybody stopped talking and everybody listened. It damn near who feel of football. And oh man, I'm ready for tomorrow. I don't know about
hey, hold up. That's the granddaddy of the locker room. He the old man, because when he speak, he got if you remember how Ron Simmons' voice used to be booming back in the day, hey, bring that over here. Like how you got your granddaddy that talk. Every time he talk, you hear that in his voice. Hey, young fella, don't do that. Go ahead and get inside and then get that sack. Hey, go ahead. I did my time. Go ahead, young buck. And when you hear him talk, he sound like somebody granddad at the cookout. That's who he sound like.
But we was lacking that the past couple of years, man. That veteran locker room, especially the defense side of the ball.
Yeah,
so
I'm trying to tell you.
Us bringing Calais Campbell is kind of like us bringing when we brought what's the name over for that Super Bowl run, man.
Freeney.
The white Freeney, Lord Jesus.
Yeah, I'm hoping that's the same kind of vibe, because when we brought that veteran leadership in, that really helped the young guys on that team get going. Big Beasley. It seemed like when he left, he was back.
I was forgetting Graham too if he comes back healthy.
Oh, we didn't forget
that's part of the reason why DC lost his job too.
Yep.
Think about it. Here's the thing. Even though we're going to have guys to start, the one thing that we can say about Ryan Nielsen, and we knew that from him being in New Orleans, he rotates defensive linemen consistently.
Yep.
Consistently. So nobody's going to get worn down. Nobody's going to get worn out. That is why New Orleans was able to blitz and blitz and blitz, because they came in waves. So Speaking of waves, we got to, it's about that time. We're going to see y'all tomorrow night, but we got to wave y'all goodbye. Now, we're going to continue this conversation off the air, but we're going to see y'all tomorrow. Look, we're looking for it like this, man. We want a party tomorrow. We don't need no benediction. Or I take that back. It's the preseason, so we're gonna call this a learning experience. We waiting for the season to say benediction.
We gonna call and everybody stay injury free tomorrow night. That's what we need.
Exactly. So we gonna call it like it is. We gonna keep it a buck, and we gonna talk about it, man. And it's been a blessing and a privilege to talk to you guys, man. And all I can say is, hey, we getting this in tomorrow. We gonna chop it up, and what we're gonna do, we're not gonna be selfish tomorrow. We're gonna bring you guys in. We're gonna provide the link to StreamYard. So if you're watching, fans, you know how we do it. We're gonna rotate you guys in and out. We're gonna let you talk about what you like, what you didn't like, and what your expectations for this season.
Yeah, exactly what he was saying, man. We're gonna have everybody coming in.
Looking forward to it, man. Hey.
So we're definitely gonna have you guys coming on tomorrow night with us. So we're gonna do our little spiel at the beginning as we always do, and then we're gonna open this up free fall for everybody. So we do appreciate you guys for coming. Happy birthday again to our guy Meltdown. He had a little technical difficulty, but he'll be back with us tomorrow.
Your girl and your camera.
We got a good one next week too, Ryan. We got a good interview next week.
Oh yeah.
With Phil
after
Cox.
The game, but the regular BirdCage show will be on next. We do got a special guest coming on to talk with us, but we're gonna talk a little Falcon football before we have him on. So we definitely see you guys next week. We love you. Stay safe, and you guys be easy out there. We'll get at you. We'll get at you next week. Much love, and we.
Peace.
Peace.